that's something about, and I got married to him. He convinced me, saying, you want to study, you can come to New York and study. What's stopping you? Why do you have to study only here? We can do German. I actually joined NYU there to do German, and which was Deutsche Haus in New York. But then I realized when reaching United States that no one wanted an Indian-speaking German. That was my strength in India when I was studying German. So I decided to change my line and study American finance, because of course I had done my commerce. My first job was with Globe International, which was an American diamond firm. And in those days, in the year 1990, I think, 1980, 89 or 90, Vijay Dimon set up their company in India, in New York. It is actually, I don't know how many of you know, B. Vijay Kumar, the group B. Vijay Kumar Diamonds. They were the #1 diamond tear in those days in Mumbai. They had the biggest wedding, if anyone had seen. And they decided to do it. And who recommended me to them was, when I was at Globe Enterprises, there was an insurance agent who used to interact with me. There was the chartered accountant who used to do the accounts, and they recommended that this girl is a head accountant in this company, but she can be your CFO, and she can also do a lot of administration, and she has this business feeling. So you want to set up a new company. So again, it's the networking and the relationship that I built with, and I was always talking to everyone around, and that's what helps. So stop looking in a tunnel vision. Everyone, you never know what sector of your life will help you at some stage. So never stop communicating with the whole world. And that's where Vijay Dimon started. Vijay Dimon turned out to be one of the best decisions I made in New York. I set up the company for them. I knew all the US laws and everything. Very soon I had the keys to the office. My first child was born in 1988, and they gave me a 3-month maternity leave. I returned, but in what time? I used to come in at 6:30 in the morning and leave by 1:30 in the afternoon. This was possible because I had given them a confidence. I had given that I could work at home, and anything is possible for any of you all. I can say I have a small child. I first started with some daycare for my child when I used to come into work. There were times I was not happy with the daycare, and they would allow me to bring my baby to work, and I would have the little child over there. I had my own cabin, so that was easy. Thereafter, we hired a Gujarati housekeeper, which was extremely expensive. I moved the next step in my business, and at Vijay Dimon, and whatever I was earning, 50% was going to the housekeeper. But I think it was the best decision, because the housekeeper was a Gujarati lady who was like having your own mother at home. And my daughter Aditi, even now, and we call her Bain. So there is help. All you need to do is look out. So if you have a vision that this is what I want to do in business, this is how I want to bring my child up, if you have a thought process, things fall in place. If you start thinking, no, if I work, what will happen about my child? Let me do it after 3 years. You want to take a sabbatical, but take a part sabbatical. Things work out. Don't stop your vision or your dream ever. That's the learning I have, and that is what helped my trajectory in life. Of course, we were making laser machines to laser diamonds. The Kitanjali group that's in India, Mehul Choksi spoke to us, and we had sold 20 machines to him. And he said that, instead of you supplying and servicing the machines, we'd like you to come to India and set up these machines, and let's go into a joint venture program and sell the machines to a lot of other jewelers in India. That was my first step in coming back to India. When I returned to India, of course, it was very different from how United States was. I did not have, my mother already had a family, my father, she could not, and my younger sister, she could not move in with me. My mother-in-law was too old. So I had 2 daughters that were 5 and 2 years old. So I could not immediately, I was helping Sailesh with the laser machines and sitting at home. So I had a brief sabbatical, but even within 3 months, I went into such a major depression because it wasn't my style just to sit at home. And one very funny thing, when my daughter came in at 5, at that age, she didn't know how to hold a pencil. She was writing macaroni with I mean, sorry, M with the letter M with macaroni, while in India people were writing, the young children were writing sentences with a pencil. So I took time out to teach them. I joined the PTA, and as time happened, I was part of the PTA and also grew there, which helped me with my networking with all the peer mothers that we had. A friend of mine decided to do a marketing program. I helped him. In that also I gained confidence that even in India I could manage, which was talking to a lot of corporates and bring the corporates to put their flag onto the Mumbai Parade calendar. While being in the PTA, I was punished along with my daughter because when she won the football match, she decided that, it was lunchtime and we go to McDonald's. The school said that is playing truant, and as a mother that was incorrect. So 11 of us were punished to go and do social work. That was the best thing that happened to me. The social work in my life, I joined up this group and we started this thing, and I helped this lady called Jaru Bilamoria start Male Jol. Male Jol is where you got children from diverse backgrounds and cultures together to break the barrier of differential cultures, and that was the best organization. Thereon, Jaru went on to start Childline, but by the time she started Childline, I could not help because I was helping Sailesh in his business, and when I was traveling to Basel and Vicenza, I saw Italian silver jewelry, and I saw that there is an opportunity to bring it to India. So we brought it to India, and I started, my relationship with the department store started, which is the Shoppers Stop and the Lifestyle. There was a small business with just 7 employees and highly profitable. So your decision is, when you start a new business, is decide you want to go really large. What is your dream and vision? My problem is that I could not think small. I knew my vision was that I wanted to be a leader in whatever I did. I wanted to be the person right at top. And that's the reason after M Square in 2001, the government decided to ban any jewelry imports into the country. I had written to Fossil the year before and said I'd like to distribute the brand Fossil. Fossil came down to India and we got the watches. They found that our distribution and our relations were very, very good with all the department stores and the organized retail. With Fossil, when I brought it in, Titan was a head honcho in the watch industry, and fashion watches at the rate of 5,000 to 8,000 in the year 2001 were unheard of. You had Swatch and Esprit, but they were hardly a drop in the ocean. What we decided at that stage, and when we brought Fossil in, we knew exactly that. And I must tell you that when we brought Fossil in, unlike M Square, we had to pledge our house to bring the funds in. At that stage, we did not. So I'm saying, if you believe in it, so when we brought Fossil in, I made a business plan of what is possible. We knew that Titan was selling this much, Esprit and Swatch won. How would Fossil succeed where the others had not succeeded? The first thing I realized was Indians love beautiful things. The brand is not as important because Fossil was unheard of, but Fossil had very good designs. So that's another thing I learned from them. Every month there'd be 2 new styles coming up. And these styles would always, it'd be like an embellishment. The first statement I made in the newspaper was, I'm not selling a timekeeping device. I'm selling an accessory to make you feel good. That was the Fossil's motto, feel good. And I realized that everyone needs to feel good. Life is so fast moving that we need something to make us happy. And that is what I decided with Fossil. Of course, we pledged our house, we brought in some funds with the business planning, and this was the idea in marketing. We were the first, now it's normal, but we started a campaign called Buy 2 Fossil, Get 1 Free. We gave free sunglasses. We gave out a lot of newspaper inserts. We did not do hardcore marketing of newspaper advertisements and everything, but we did things like this. Within the store, Fossil was a very funky brand. So we would put in a little bicycle, we'd put a little car. People would actually come to look at the car or the airplane and say, oh, can I buy that for my child? And we said, no, that is not possible to be purchased, but I got them to come and look at the product. So there was a sublime image of the product. At some stage, they convert it to my customers. So these are things, and these are very cost effective. The first is your belief in the product and how you can take the product to the consumer's mind without spending a lot of money. In those days, you did not have social media. Now, Facebook is there, writing out to a lot of people. You can do a lot of things. You can go keep your name and go onto Google SEO. There are lots of ways which are cost effective. After Fossil, the Fossil group internationally had 11 brands. I brought in DKNY, Armani, and just Diesel Burberry. From 2000 to 2006, I had the brands with me. We had grown to almost 65, 70,000 watt sale in the year 2006-07. I had 319 employees there. In 2006, the president of Fossil decided to visit India, Mark Parker. We were very happy. The October before, in 2005, I had gone back to him that India, we have reached a certain stage. I would like to assemble watches so we can save some custom duties. I would like to start retail stores, and I'd already started a few retail stores in 2005. They agreed. They said, yes, yes, we'll support you, everything. To my surprise, with the ideas I gave them, they came in 2006 and decided to bring the company in as a 100% subsidiary. They told me that we are taking the brands away from you and we're going to set up, because now it was affordable for them to have their own offices and their own staff. So all the hard work, the sweat, the passion that I put in to the brands that I built was away from me, literally under my feet. We were very angry. We met lawyers. Lawyers said, you have an opportunity to fight, but in India, it's a long, drawn-out thing. But yes, we could have got money out of them. To this day, I've got no money from Fossil. And that's how it works. So if you're doing something for someone, please ensure that you are profitable. Okay? So when you're starting a business, don't think I'm building the brand for the future, because if it's not yours, the owner can come and say they can take it with you. Yes, I will never condone the days that I had with Fossil, because everything about watches I learned with them. Today, what Aspen is, thanks to my relationship with them. So that's one thing. I could have been dejected. I could have been very upset. I could have been depressed that overnight everything's gone away. My support was the buyers of Shopper Stop, the buyers of Lifestyle, and my 319 employees. They said, we don't know how, but we trust in you guys. We know that you'll do something for us. And we are not quitting. That gave me the strength to go back to Fossil and tell them, listen, you brought this on me. I don't think that's right. I have an agreement. I can go to the court and I can make it long drawn. You won't be able to come in. I won't be able to sell. Both of us will suffer. I negotiated that Fossil would go away when I say Fossil, I mean the Fossil Group brand, because now they have 18 brands. So we had 4 to 5 brands in India: Fossil, DKNY, Armani, Burberry, and Diesel. And I negotiated that 33% of their business would go every year. So I still had 66% in the next year, which was 2007, and I had to build the other 33%. From my 5 retail, that's when I decided to control my own destiny. Right now, I was building someone else's brand, and I was naive. I thought that's no problem. I mean, I thought Fossil was mine. That was, and there's no hassles. I never had a setback because this happened to me. Luckily, at every trip to Basel, where, this is like a watch exhibition, I was very friendly with Anne Klein, with Kenneth Cole, the owners of them. I just had to make a call to Gary Bollinger of Kenneth Cole, and I said, listen, I no longer have the Fossil Group. I no longer am requested to carry only their brands. He was very happy, because every year I would have like 5 brands. Even now, I have 5 to 10 brands. Please distribute us in India. Kenneth Cole immediately, within the 2 months, supplied me merchandise. Skagen took a little longer. They were from Denmark. By 2008, 7 end. So I had 2006 November, I had Kenneth Cole. I had, in 2007, I had Skagen, and by 2008, Aspen. Aspen was already conceptualized by the year 2006 when Fossil spoke to me, but it takes time when you make a brand, because I didn't want to jump into it. Now, how did we make Aspen? One, I had to build. You already had a Titan. You already had the Fossil, DKNY, Armani. If I brought in another watch brand, would it succeed? If you had to bring in something where already, I think someone's already got garments. When you bring in, there are lots of apparels. When you bring in an apparel, what would you like to do? You'd like to create an USP. You'd like to fight in a different game, right? So what I decided to do was, most of the watches in India were catering to men. We had some 9 focus groups. I had focus groups with my daughter's school group, with her college friends, with the jewelry designers. We went to malls and had a focus group. And we found out what most people in India wanted. What came out was they wanted something that looks nice. Even now I want to ask you, if you had a brand and you had a product which looked better than a brand, what would you all pick up? What would you all pick up? The product. Because you want that when you wear it, people compliment. Today on a watch, you cannot make out the brand name. Both my watches are Aspen, and you can say it's anything else. Okay? So that's one thing I decided. So we said, let's not play. We decided to be small fish in a larger pond. So what we decided was to go into the 20% market of only women's watches. And Aspen was created as a women's watch only brand. And the motto was, time is on my side. And which is what I want to tell all you women, that now there is a support from everyone and time is really on our side. So when we created Aspen Women's brand, I said, what will I do with a normal woman's brand? The first thing I did was that same thing. Every watch that I have has a dial that is a conversation piece. I will put more attention on the dial. It becomes like a jewelry piece. We Indians love our ethnic wear. We love being a little more ornate. So my watches were more ornate. I went to Italy because of my jewelry days, and I made watches with jewelry straps. Today, you won't have any other brand who can merge a watch with jewelry straps. And that is what I did. That was a USP. Today, out of 40 brands in India, Aspen has climbed the ranks to number 12 in organized retail of a Shoppers Stop and the other department stores. Within my own retail, which is Just in Vogue and Just Watches, we now have 47 stores. Aspen is the number 5 brand. Fifth only to Casio, Kenneth Cole, Fossil, Tissot, and then we have Aspen. So to make a brand that is only 5 years old to go up to this ranking, to reach a number, because